is a production SUV, not a concept, not a prototype, not some military vehicle the government pretends doesn't exist. That is a car you can actually buy, driving across one of the widest rivers on the planet under its own power. And before you say, okay, it's probably some modified monster truck, no. That's a luxury SUV with Napa leather seats inside, a 35-inch screen, a built-in refrigerator, and I'm dead serious, a factory-fitted oxygen generator. I said what I said. This is the Jetour G700, and by the time this video is over, you're either going to be jealous, confused, amazed, or all three at once. Trust me, I was all three at the same time, and I make these videos for a living. Stay with me, because this one's different. Alright, let's talk about how this thing looks, because here's the thing. Chinese car designers have been doing something lately that I genuinely didn't see coming. They stopped trying to copy, and they started going absolutely crazy. The Jetour G700 is boxy, intentionally, aggressively, beautifully boxy. We're talking full, I dare you to mess with me energy from the front. It's got this enormous front grille, dark, wide, commanding, flanked by split matrix LED headlights that look like they belong on a fighter jet, not a family hauler. And I'll be real with you, the first time I saw this front end, I thought, okay, they're clearly trying to out G-Wagon the G-Wagon. And honestly, they kinda did. The G-Wagon cost like $200,000, and this thing, we'll talk price later. Hold that thought, trust me. The hood is long, flat, almost architectural. There's real visual weight here. It doesn't look like a car trying to look tough, it just is tough. You know how the Ford Bronco Raptor looks mean in pictures, and then you see it next to an actual truck, and it's somehow smaller than you expected? This is the opposite. The G700 is bigger in person, every single time. And those headlights, can we talk about those headlights? They've got this geometric multi-element matrix LED design that turns on like a light show at a stadium concert. Full beam, it'll make oncoming traffic question every decision they've ever made. Oh, and there's a front bash plate, a massive, textured, off-road ready one. Not a decorative piece of plastic they paint silver, a real, actual metal protector for when you're out doing things this car was actually built to do. Speaking of what it was built to do, I haven't even gotten to the water jet propulsion system yet. We're getting there, be patient. The side profile of this car is just, look, this is a full-size, body-on-frame SUV. We're talking 5.2 meters long. That's over 204 inches. For context, the Ford Expedition, which is already a beast, is about 210 inches. The G700 is in that same conversation, except the G700 also weighs 3 tons, has 3 tons of attitude, and could probably bench press an Expedition if it had arms. The roofline is tall and straight, no swoopy, fastback nonsense. This isn't trying to look aerodynamic, it's not going to space. It's going off-road, into rivers, up mountains, across things that have no business being driven across. Along the sides, you'll notice bold character lines that run the full length of the body. It gives the car definition without being overwrought. There are running boards, electric ones on the flagship trim, which matter when you remember this thing sits high enough that climbing in without them is basically a CrossFit workout. The wheels, up to 20-inch alloys wrapped in proper all-terrain rubber, 275/60R20 on the top trims. These aren't Boulevard cruiser tires, these are tires that mean business. And mounted on the rear tailgate, old school, totally purposeful, is a full-size spare. You love to see it, because when you're 40 miles deep in the Canadian backcountry, which by the way this car might be actually coming to Canada, you want that spare tire right there, not buried under luggage in a subfloor. Also, there's a contour map embossed in the door panels and center console, like a topographic map, because the designer said, you know what would look sick if the inside of the car looked like the terrain you're about to destroy? Respect. Okay, the rear. And this is where I need you to pay close attention, because what's on the back of this car is either the coolest thing ever added to a production SUV, or proof that Chinese engineers have absolutely lost their minds. Possibly both. The taillights are clean, wide, LED, looks modern, looks upscale. Very much we built this in 2025 and we know it. The spare tire is mounted on a swinging tailgate, classic hardcore off-roader design. Looks proper, looks tough. But here's where it gets unhinged. On the back of the top-spec G700, there are two military-grade turboprops. Yes, turboprops, like jet engine propellers, mounted on an SUV. Each one kicks out 18 kilowatts. Together, they produce 3,000 newtons of thrust. And they're not there because someone at Jetour thought it looked cool, although it absolutely does. They're there because this car can drive through water, and the turboprops push it, like a boat. The G700 crossed the Yangtze River, 1,480 meters across, in 22 minutes. First SUV ever to do that. A production SUV, with a warranty, with leather seats, with a refrigerator. I grew up thinking the Toyota Land Cruiser was the gold standard of built for anything, and I still love the Land Cruiser. But bro, it doesn't have turboprops. Let's talk power, because the numbers are... Look, I'm just gonna say them and let them land. The Jetour G700 runs Chery's Kunpon CDMO plug-in hybrid system. That's a 2.0-liter turbocharged engine paired with dual permanent magnet synchronous electric motors running through a 2-speed dedicated hybrid transmission. Combined system output? 892 horsepower, 1,135 newton-meters of torque. I'll wait. For reference, the Cadillac Escalade V, which is basically America's flex on the world, makes 682 horsepower. The G700 has 210 more ponies than that, and weighs 3 tons, and also floats. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.6 seconds, in a body-on-frame SUV that's the size of a living room. The 800-volt fast-charging architecture means you can take the battery from 20 to 80% in just 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You spend more time in a Starbucks drive-thru. And the range, total combined range with a full tank and full charge, is up to 1,400 kilometers. That's around 870 miles. You could drive from Toronto to Miami on one tank and charge combo and still have juice left over to be annoying about it. There's a 34.13 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate battery, CATL Shenzhen cells, the good stuff, and a 100-liter fuel tank working together in harmony. Pure electric range is around 100 kilometers WLTC. In fuel efficiency mode, 1.39 liters per 100 kilometers. A car with nearly 900 horsepower is returning better fuel economy than some people's daily commuters. Make it make sense. Alright, this is where things go from impressive to actually insane. The Jetour G700 is not an off-road capable luxury SUV. It is a hardcore off-road machine that happens to have luxury features. Big difference. Let's start with the basics. 970 millimeters of wading depth. That's over 38 inches. It can wade through nearly a meter of water. The Defender 130 does 900 millimeters, the G-Wagon does 700 millimeters, the G700 beats both, and then it deploys turboprops and just swims the rest of the way. It can wade for up to 40 continuous minutes. Because the cabin is sealed, the air intake is elevated, and the electronics are waterproofed. This car was engineered for submersion, the same way a diving watch is engineered for submersion. On purpose, from the factory. Approach angle, 35 degrees. Departure angle, 28 degrees. Ground clearance, 230 millimeters of gap between the underbody and whatever rock or root or terrifying drop-off you're about to negotiate. 3 electronic locking differentials, front, center, rear. So when you're crawling across loose rock at 2 miles per hour with one wheel in the air and one spinning on ice, the G700 is not panicking, it's computing. It's directing torque exactly where it needs to go. The XWD Intelligent All-Terrain Control System supports 14+ driving modes: sand, mud, rock, snow, wading, and then X mode that auto-detects the terrain and picks the optimal mode for you. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to think about terrain modes while you're literally driving through a river, that's covered. Here's the one that sounds fake but is absolutely real. The G700 can perform a tank turn. For those who don't know, a tank turn means spinning the car in place on its own axis by running the left and right wheels in opposite directions. Zero turn radius. It's how tanks navigate tight terrain, and the G700 does it in a 5.2-meter luxury SUV. The car can also park on a slope of up to 70% gradient. 70%. That is a near vertical wall. Oh, and I mentioned the oxygen generator earlier. We're gonna go deep on that in a second. Don't skip ahead. Okay, this is the section. This is why I made this video. Buckle up. You open the door, electric side steps deploy automatically on the flagship trim, because of course they do, and you step into what I can only describe as a cockpit designed by someone who wanted to make Land Rover designers cry into their tea. The first thing you notice is the screen. The screen, not a screen, the screen. 35.4 inches, pillar to pillar, 3K resolution. It replaces the entire instrument cluster and stretches across the full width of the dashboard. It's not a tablet stuck on the dash, it's the entire dash. It's telescopic, meaning it physically extends outward towards you when you want to use it and retracts back when you don't. I've never seen that on any car at any price. Below that is a standalone 15.6-inch 2.5K center infotainment display. So you've got the 35-inch panoramic mega screen up top and a separate tablet-style touch display in the center console. Two separate screens, both high resolution, both doing different things. And then, and I need you to just accept this before I say it, there's a 17.3-inch drop-down display mounted in the ceiling of the second row. A ceiling display for the passengers. 3K resolution. So the kids in the back have a better screen than most people's home TVs. 3 screens in a factory SUV, under $60,000. Meanwhile, in America, I'm looking at a $75,000 Chevy Suburban that still has a physical volume knob from 2015. Not judging, I'm just saying. I'm just observing, out loud. The seats are Nappa leather, heated, ventilated, and yes, massaging. Front and second row both, because sometimes after you've been driving through rivers and climbing mountains, your back deserves a spa treatment. The G700 respects that. Let's talk about the audio system. 18-speaker Lexicon premium sound with Dolby Atmos. Lexicon is not a budget brand. These are the same folks who do high-end home theater systems. Dolby Atmos in a car means spatial, three-dimensional sound. You're not just hearing music, you're inside it. Here's the feature that genuinely stopped me mid-research. There's a built-in refrigerator drawer in the center console. It can cool down to -6 degrees Celsius or flip it to warm mode, and it heats up to 50 degrees Celsius. So whether you want cold drinks or a hot meal, there's a literal appliance built into your SUV. For camping, for overlanding, for impressing people who didn't believe you when you told them about it. Now, the oxygen generator. The G700 has a factory-installed external oxygen generator. It produces up to 3 liters of oxygen per minute. It exists specifically for high-altitude environments. Think the Rockies, the Andes, Himalayan foothills, wherever life gets thin and your lungs start complaining. The car literally breathes for you. No other production vehicle on Earth has this. Not the G-Wagon, not the Defender, not the Wrangler Rubicon 392. Nobody. Just Jetour in their first ever flagship luxury off-roader. The dashboard also features that topographic map embossing I mentioned. It runs across the dash, the door panels, the console storage bin. It's a design detail that ties the interior visually to the car's purpose. It says, "This machine was made for terrain," and we want you to remember that even when you're sitting in air-conditioned luxury. ADAS is handled by Chery's Falcon system. Base trims get the Falcon 500, 28 sensors, L2 driver assistance. The flagship gets the Falcon 700, 33 sensors, Huawei Qiankun ADS 4.0 powering it, which is basically China's equivalent of what Tesla is doing with full self-drive, but on steroids and with better sensor coverage. We're talking adaptive cruise, lane keeping, auto parking, blind spot, cross traffic alert, the whole package. Satellite communication is available as an option, so you can ping your location from places where there is no cell signal, like the middle of nowhere, which, given what this car can go do, seems very relevant. And the 360-degree camera system includes a fully transparent chassis view, meaning you can see the terrain directly below the vehicle on your screen while off-roading. No guessing whether there's a rock under your front left wheel. You can actually see it. It's like X-ray vision for the ground. 5-seat and 6-seat layouts are both available. 7 color options. 7, including a deep ocean blue called Cabri Blue and an extreme wild trail finish that I genuinely need to see in person before I can describe it in words. Alright, we've talked about the 892 horsepower, the turboprops, the 35-inch screen, the oxygen generator, the refrigerator, the ceiling screen, the Lexicon Dolby Atmos audio, the Huawei AI driver assist, the Amphibious capability. You're probably sitting there thinking, okay, what's this thing cost? Because if it's under 100 grand, I'm gonna need a moment. Take your moment. In China, the Jetour 700 starts at 329,900 yuan. That's around 46,300 USD. The top spec lands at about 58,200 USD. In the UAE, it starts at approximately 179,000 AED. That's around 48,800 USD. And early pricing data showing up in Canada is indicating a starting figure of around 65,800 Canadian dollars, roughly 48,000 US dollars equivalent. $46,000 to start for a car with 892 horsepower, turboprops, a 35-inch screen, an oxygen generator, and a refrigerator. Let me put that in perspective for you. A fully loaded Ford F-150 Raptor, which is a great truck, I'm not throwing shade, can run you $75,000 or more. No ceiling screen, no Dolby Atmos, no turboprops, certainly no oxygen generator. A base G-Wagon, that's $140,000 and it doesn't float. A Range Rover Defender 130, $75,000 for a nicely equipped one. Not amphibious, no turboprops, no built-in refrigerator. And the Jetour 700 is sitting there going under $50,000 going, hey, I make almost 900 horsepower and I can sweat. What are you doing this weekend? Now, is it available in the US right now? No, the tariff situation makes that complicated for the moment. But Canada? Europe? The trajectory is clear. The G700 is already in Australia for testing. It's in the UAE, it's in the Philippines. It's coming. If you're watching from Canada, keep your eyes open. This thing is knocking. So, here's what I want to know. Because I've been covering Chinese cars for a while now, and every time I post one, someone in the comments says, yeah, but the quality isn't there, or I don't trust Chinese build quality. And look, that's a fair concern from 3 or 4 years ago. But this is 2026. The G700 just crossed the Yangtze River. It was engineered with Cat Ale batteries, Huawei AI, and Lexicon audio. This isn't a budget play anymore. So I'm asking you directly. If the Jetour 700 arrived at a Canadian or European dealer tomorrow for $50,000, would you buy it over a Defender, over a G-Wagon, over an Expedition? Tell me in the comments, because last time I asked a question like that, the comment section went absolutely feral, and I loved every second of it. Look, I don't say this lightly. I've covered a lot of vehicles on this channel. I've been amazed, I've been underwhelmed, I've been somewhere in the middle. But the Jetour 700 is genuinely, legitimately, no hyperbole needed, one of the most technically wild production vehicles I've ever researched. And the fact that it costs less than a loaded pickup truck makes it either the greatest automotive value proposition of 2025 or a sign that the rest of the industry needs to have a very serious meeting. Probably both. If you're new here, this is Wheel Factor. We cover the cars the other channels aren't talking about, the ones coming fast, the ones that don't care about legacy or prestige, the ones that are just built differently. Hit that subscribe button if that's your kind of content, because trust me, what's coming next on this channel, you don't want to miss it. Drop a like if this video gave you any sort of feelings. Comment turboprops if you watched the whole thing, and share this with one person who still thinks Chinese cars are cheap knockoffs. Let's have that conversation. I'll see you in the next one.